army. We're living prophecy, brothers and sisters. We are living prophecy. Y'all understand that thing?
Yes, sir.
You so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, you are the Israelites. Because guess what? The people in the Bible didn't just magically disappear. Their descendants are standing before me this day. You are the descendants from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You are the sons and daughters of the 12 tribes of Israel. The greatest people on the planet. No one can compare to you. No one on this planet. The Chinese man can't compare to you. The Japanese man can't compare to you. The East Indian man can't compare to you. You are royalty before me.
Seeing the Israelites wake up tribe by tribe, man and woman, boy and girl. He said our time is short. These guys are waking up. All the money we spent to keep them in darkness has availed us nothing.
And they stood upon their feet.
And we stood upon our feet as the Israelites.
And great fear fell upon them which saw.
And the nations were afraid. What are we reading in the Bible? So society is against us. Why? Because we're giving back the esteem to our people as the Israelites. We're not saying that you're equal to everybody. We're saying you are above all nations.
That's right.
That's what the Bible says. God ain't looking for a church group. He said a great exceeding army stood up. And what's our weapon? The Bible.
So Joshua, I'm going to read it for you again. Read it. By this, we know that we love the children of God. Right. When we love God and keep His commandments. So when we love God and do what? Keep His commandments. So the way you love your brother, yourself, and one another, and you love God, is when we do what? Keep His commandments. Right. Watch this. Keep reading. For this is the love of God. This is the love of God. This is what we have to know. This is what we got to do, the actions. To love each other, to love God. What is it? That we keep His commandments. That we what? We keep His commandments. And His commandments are not grievous. His commandments are not grievous, meaning they're not hard to do. But you've been in the Christian church before? Yeah? Don't they tell us the law is done away with? So if the laws of God are done away with, right? For example, can we fornicate? Better yet, can we rape somebody? Huh? It's not the right thing to do, but today, can we steal? Does God give us license to steal, to rape? Oh, no. No, right? So why does the Christian church say that we could break the laws? That we don't have to keep the laws. We're not under the laws of God. You understand that? Does that make sense to you? Does it make sense? That the Christian church says we can break all the laws? No. See, we have to think. See, remember, we were taught that this is Christ, right? So when we were taught this, you know where we were? We were in bondage. Remember, slavery happened, right? 1492, black and Hispanic man, we were in slavery. The black man, you see how we're in chains? Who do you think taught us Christianity? The white people. Who do you think taught us white Jesus? White people. So who do you think taught you that it's okay to not keep God's laws? Right. It doesn't make sense, because who's the only ones breaking God's laws for the most part? Us, blacks and Hispanics. Who's stealing from each other? Blacks. We ain't going to Beverly Hills to go steal from the rich white people. Who are we stealing from? Each other. Who are we killing? Right. But when one black man or one Hispanic man gets killed by one white cop, now it's a problem. Bring it up. But we're killing each other at a crazy high rate today. You see that? So should we be breaking God's laws or keeping God's laws today? We should be keeping them. Now, let me give you a law. Give me 1 Corinthians 3:16. 1 Corinthians 3:16. You work, brother? Okay. How old are you? 28. Oh, 28? All praises, all praises. You smoke? You smoke weed? Nah, you don't smoke no cigarettes? I had to put it down. You put it down? Okay. What made you put it down? It didn't feel right. Didn't feel right? Yeah. Okay. I smoked for about 15 years. I stopped like 5 years ago. Yeah, it didn't feel right. It's something in our spirit, brother, that bears witness And guess what? Your spirit has to coincide with the spirit of this Bible.
Right.
But I'm going to read this for you real quick. Read that.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God?
So we have to know that we are God's temple, right? We were created in his image. The black guy. Remember that. You look just like the Father. You know what I'm saying? We do. But guess what? We have to know that we are what?
The temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you. If any man defile the temple of God.
So it says, if any man defile the temple of God, which we are, right? How do we defile the temple of God?
What you put in it, toxins,
Yes, like what?
alcohol.
Alcohol, getting drunk, right? Because alcohol, we can consume alcohol, but we can't get drunk. We can't have it in excess, right? Now, what else? We were just saying it right now. Smoking weed, cigarettes, you know what I'm saying? Drugs. All our people out here on drugs right now, cracked out, you know what I'm saying? That's how we defile ourselves. You know how else we defile ourselves? Huh? Food weed, yes. Yes, the pork. God gave us a dietary law that we must keep. I'm going to take it another step further. You got a girlfriend? Nah? Not at the moment? You know how else we defile ourselves? Sleeping around with women that is not your wife.
Right.
Multiple women, you understand? That's how you defile yourself. And what do you think God is going to do when we defile our temple? His temple. Chastise you. Read it again for the brother, Joshua.
If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy.
What did God say he's going to do to you?
Destroy.
Right. Because when we smoke, right, guess what happens? What's the repercussions of smoking? You get what? You get lung cancer, right? What is it? The throat cancer. You know what I'm saying? You get sick, right? Guess what else? When you fornicate and sleeping around with women, what can happen to you? STDs, right? What else?
Headaches.
Headaches? What do you mean?
It's like the energy, like
Okay.
relationship.
We gotta keep it in context for our people.
Yeah.
Baby mama drama, right? Single parent households,
Right.
Now the young children, like the boys today, right? A black child, right? A black boy, a Hispanic boy, they grow up without fathers in the household. That's how we get destroyed. That's how we destroy God's temple. You understand? That's the thing. It's so heavy, bro. We have to understand that when we break God's laws, we destroying ourselves.
Right.
That's how God has been destroying us. You know how he destroyed us? Because God allowed us to go into slavery. God allowed us to be under the white man and let the white man teach us and give us everything that we have today. But guess what? We have to understand that, bro. We have to get out of that. You understand? I'm going to show you. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12. The Bible, give me Psalms 111 and verse 10. The Bible is the black and Hispanic and Native American history book.
Right.
It's just our book.
Right.
You think God dealt with the other nations? You think God is the God of the white man? You know, in the Bible they're called Edomites or Esau. Asians are Moabites in the Bible. You have to know the real names of our people,
Right.
of the other nations, right? Like you say you're black or African American. You're black. You see that? Isn't that a color in the crayon box? Black. Can you go to the land of black? No. Do you speak the language of black? You have see that? You're African American. You know who started that term? And when did that term start? Started back in 1985, right?
Yes, sir.
Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson called us African American. Before we were called what? Afro-American, colored, Negro. Right. You see that? Is that a real nationality? No. You have to know who you are. If Christ was black, so what does that make you? Because Christ was a Jew. So if the Jews were what? They were black, what does that make you? A Jew. You're the real Jew. Your tribe is Judah.
Right.
And you come from the nation of Israel. So
That's
every time
right.
you look in this Bible, you gotta see yourself in it.
So who are like the people in Israel?
Yeah.
They don't look like us.
That's a great question.
They look like
So
the opposite of us.
So the people in Israel, right? They don't look like us. They look the opposite. What do they look like? White, Caucasian, right? So guess what? Why?
Because isn't that confusion? I'm telling you that the real Jews are black, that Christ is black, but the people in Israel, they're white. I can show you that in the Bible.
It's not just that, like,
Yeah.
one of us is, we're not intermingled. You know what I'm saying? We're not intermingled. Like,
Yeah.
they
Okay.
almost don't want us to type of
Yes.
shit. So it's confusing
They-
because if that's our land and they're in our land,
Mm.
we can't dwell here. It's confusing.
I got you. And I'm going to break that down for you. I'm going to show you why the people in Israel right now, the Israelis or the Jewish people, are occupying our land. You know what I'm saying? First of all, I'm going to read this first. Then I'm going to show you that. Read that.
The book of Psalms 111 verse 10.
Get out.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Meaning what? When we fear God, that we have judgments to pay, right? We have penalties to pay when we break his laws. Like when you say, it don't feel right for me to be smoking. I'm too old for this. I got to get over this. I see my people. If you dope down, right? You dumb, right? You think you good when you're high, but you really lying to yourself, right? You stupid, you know what I'm saying? You paranoid, you know what I'm saying? The fear of the Lord tells you, man, I can't be sleeping around with these women. Why? Because I'm gonna get caught up with one of these. I'm gonna get one of these pregnant, and guess what? Now I gotta deal with her, right? Now I gotta pay her child support. I gotta deal with a bunch of stuff. When we break God's commandments, we gotta deal with that. So we gotta fear God and say, hell no. You know what? I'm gonna get away from sin, and I gotta do what God says.
Not just the baby mama trauma, it feels toxic.
Exactly.
Like being with multiple women, it starts to feel like something's not adding up. You know?
Right, because guess what? Because the Spirit of the Lord is not in us when we're doing those things. That is not of God. So it's definitely, you can feel, you know it's wrong. But guess what? Our people don't have the discipline to stop doing it. Because guess what? We've been taught that since we were kids. We were born into this. We were born into the white man system. The white man wants us to keep sinning. You understand that? Well, read this again.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of
So
wisdom.
the beginning for you to get wisdom, Joshua, is when you fear him. Read.
A good understanding.
Now, when you read this Bible and you get the understanding, you get it how?
Have all they that do his commandments.
See that? When we read this Bible, we get the understanding when we do what? When we keep his commandments, when we apply them, right? Because God has to dwell in your temple, right? But he can't dwell if you are in sin, if you're breaking his law. You're putting all these toxic things in your life, right? In your mind, right? Putting it into your body. So God said, the understanding, you're going to get it when you apply his commandments. Now, give me Galatians 4 real quick, 4:26. I'm going to answer your question real quick. Then I got to revert back to the laws. I got to teach you some laws, but I'm going to answer your question. Galatians 4:26. Watch this.
The book of Galatians chapter 4 verse 26.
So you got to understand geography. Where's the map at? Give me that map. Yeah, give me that. Is it locked up?
Yes, sir.
Hold on. Come back. Let the officer get it. Let's read this real quick.
The book of Galatians chapter 4 verse 26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free.
We're talking about Jerusalem, right? Where's Jerusalem at? Let me see if you know. Look at that. You see the continent of Africa? Look at the northeast corner at the top. Jerusalem is in Israel, right? Jerusalem is part of Africa. But what was it in the 1880s? They changed that region where Israel is right now to the Middle East. That's a new term. Yes, because they have to trick us into believing that's totally separate. Because a lot of people say that Jesus looked Arab, right? But if you say you're from Africa, right? And our people are so-called in Africa, there it is. There it is. Huh? Arabs? They're not African. No. And you're not an African. And I can prove that out of the Bible. Now, read that again.
But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all.
See that? The motherland, because all people say is Africa, right? The motherland is where?
But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all.
What's the motherland? Jerusalem. Jerusalem. That's in Africa. But guess what? They're not going to teach you that. Because what? When we think about Jerusalem, we see white people. You understand that? You now give me Jeremiah 14:2. Jeremiah 14:2. You have to understand your history. You understand? Africa, before it was named Africa, was named the land of Ham. So watch this. Read.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
So at this time, when Christ roamed the earth, right? At this time of the disciples, right? What time period was this? Or who was the ruling class at that time? Yeah, when Christ was on the earth. What time period is this? Who was the ones that were in power at that time? No. Who put Christ on the cross? The Romans. The Romans. So at this time, the Romans were in power. So the Jews, right? Us, we were under the Roman Empire. They were the one ruling us. Like today, who's ruling us? America. It's the same people, but now they're called Americans, right? They changed their identity. It's still the same man, but at that time, Christ and everybody in the Bible were under the Romans, right? Yes, it's the same thing over and over. You understand that? But watch this. Read it again.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
So they is talking about us. At that time, Titus Vespasian, a Roman general, they decided to sack Jerusalem, meaning invade Jerusalem, our land. They invaded us at that time because we were still 70 AD, and that was the time period. They invaded us in 70 AD. Read on.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
See that? We were led captives. They took us captives. Just like the sub-Saharan slave trade. You ever heard about that? Or the transatlantic slave trade? When they grabbed us from the west coast of Africa, right? And they dispersed us all over to South America, the Caribbean, West Virginia, Mississippi. They took us to Europe, right? They took us to Spain. They dispersed us everywhere. That happened back then too.
And all those people are the people in power.
Yes. Yes. Read it again.
And shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem
Jerusalem, our land, the motherland, read.
shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
Trodden down of who?
Of the Gentiles.
It was going to be taken over of the Gentiles. The Gentiles, you know what that means? It means the other nations that are not the Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, which are the Israelites.
Right.
So right now, who's in Jerusalem? What did the Bible just say?
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
The future prophecy. So who's in Jerusalem right now? The Gentiles.
Right.
The false Jews.
That's
the
right.
Jewish people. Meaning, not really. Pertaining to, but not it. You know what I'm saying? That's what it means to be Jewish. They're not the people of the land.
Right.
They're not the original people of God. They're not the Jews. They have nothing to do with the God of this Bible. You understand? Read on.
Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
So their time is almost over.
Right.
Because guess what? You see all the turmoil that's going on over there in Palestine? Right? All the things that's happening right now, the war that's happening in that land, it's because God doesn't want peace in there because they don't belong in that land.
Right.
Because God, when he comes back, he's going to set us back in our own land. Meaning
Right.
what? Go back to Jerusalem. We're going to go back to our motherland, brother. America has never been a homeland. We were brought here by bitter constraint and slave ships on chains, right? Have you ever been back home? Yeah, you say you're from Africa, but have you ever been to your homeland? Exactly. You see that? So guess what? That makes us here. Slaves, captives.
Right.
Led away captives. That was a future prophecy, brother. Now give me Revelations 2:9. Christ is going to tell you that now. He's going to tell you who the people in Israel really are. Read that.
The book of Revelations, chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works in tribulation.
God, Christ is saying he knows our works and tribulation. Isn't the black man and the Hispanic man going through a lot of pain and struggles today? A lot, right? In any facet of way, trying to get a job, right? Trying to maintain on in the streets. Gotta dodge your brother because your brother's trying to kill you. Exactly. Are the people over there going through the same struggles the black and Hispanic men are? Are they getting shot dead by the police? Not even close. So, read it again.
I know thy works in tribulation.
So, is the Jewish people going through tribulation? Nah. They own Beverly Hills, they own Hollywood, right? They own the banks. So, who's it talking about? It's us. the blacks and Hispanics. Now read on.
And poverty.
You know about poverty. Are they poor? The Jewish people is one of the richest people ever. America be selling millions and billions of dollars every year to them. The anti-defense missile system that they have, not one got away. Not one of them missiles even touched one of them Jewish people's heads. All them yarmulkes stayed intact, brother. You know what I'm saying? Now read on.
But thou art rich.
But they said, us, we are rich though. What do you think he said that? What do you think he said? We're rich. No. Because the Bible, the promises, right? Christ coming for us, dying for us, right? The promises of us being in rulership, getting the kingdom, that we were going to get back to royalty, to rulership once again. All the things, the covenants, right? That Moses made with the Israelites, that Christ made with us, it's all for us.
Right.
That's why we're rich.
That's
Because the
right.
other nations don't have no God.
Right.
They have nothing. They have something right now, which is really nothing. Because when Christ returns, we're going to get it. Read it again.
I know thy works, and tribulation, and poverty, but thou art rich.
We're rich. But we are rich and we don't know it. We got the richest history ever. You're the greatest people ever, Joshua, ever created. The Israelites is the chosen people of God. Nope. I'm going to show you. Now keep reading.
And I know the blasphemy.
Now God said he know the blasphemy. You know what a blasphemy is?
I don't know the exact definition.
It means a great lie. Great lie against God. So he says he knows what?
I know the blasphemy
Christ knows the blasphemy, that great lie.
of them
Them,
which say they are Jews.
them who say they are Jews. Who's he talking about? Yeah, the people in Israel right now, here in Hollywood. Read.
And are not,
And what?
and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
God said they're what? They're the deceivers. They're the damn devil. They're not the real Jews. Christ had to expose them. And we have to show you that. So the people in Israel right now are what? They're the synagogue of Satan. They're the chief house. The principal ones who deceived us to believe that this is Jesus. Because they control Hollywood, right? They're making the movies, right? They're making all the Passions of the Christ, the Paul movies, all the disciple movies. They're putting out all that stuff on TV. They control social media. So guess what? They're a lie. They ain't the people of God. So what was that question you just said right now about the other nations, the Gentiles? What does that make them? Isaiah 40. I'm going to show you real quick. And then I'm going to start touching the laws with you, brother. So you understand what we're reading to you right now? You ever heard that before?
Heard like bits and pieces.
Yeah.
here and there, but
So, guess what? This Bible is real. But the thing is, Christianity, the church, they ain't bringing this out like we are.
Right.
Because they don't have the Spirit of God. They got the Spirit of the devil.
Right.
Everything they spew out of their mouth, right, when they teaching you the sermon in church, is white supremacy.
Right.
It's a white doctrine. It benefits white people and is the detriment of the black and Hispanic man. You
Right.
understand that? Read this. Yes.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 15.
So what's that make the other nations, right? God's going to tell you right here. Read.
Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket.
So the nations are as a drop of a bucket. So you have a bucket full of water, right? One little drop. The nations are kind of like that. Read on.
And are counted as the small dust of the balance.
They're counted as the small dust on the balance. You know what a balance does, right? It weighs things. No, does dust register as weight? Does dust have any weight to it? So what is that telling you about the other nations? They're what? They're nothing? That's what you're saying? Okay. Keep reading, verse 17.
Verse 17. All nations before him.
So the other nations before God, right? You got the Arab man, right? Which the Bible calls them Ishmaelites. They come from Ishmael. The white man, which comes from Esau. You got the Chinese man that comes from Moab. All the other nations, right? Read it again.
All nations before him are as nothing.
They're what?
Are as nothing.
You know,
And they are counted to him less than nothing. And vanity.
how come they don't don't teach that in the Christian church. They teach we are all one under Jesus Christ.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.